Stage, and the topics assigned to them are services as people wealth and corruption. Good luck.
Good afternoon to one all present over here. Today me, Vivek and Manav are standing out before you to give out our presentation. Today our topics will be corruption and services as people's wealth. This presentation is a tribute to the late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. APJ Abdul Kalam had his own vision and laid his own path on how India should groom itself to become a developed country in the future by the year 2020. So here we'll start off with our presentation. Corruption. Corruption is often related to something that's negative and which is not correct. But what does it exactly mean? It's the wrongdoing on the part of an authority or a powerful body through means which do not support human conduct, which are immoral and are illegitimate. It often associates itself with bribery. As seen in the picture over there, the man has been trapped by the police, but then he offers him bribe in form of cash and lets himself go free. This takes place in our country very often, and it's a form of corruption and it has to be stopped. And now we have a quote which was quoted by the late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He said that if a country is to be corruption free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel there are three key societal members who can make a difference. They are the father, the mother, and the teacher. And now we have the topic, services as people's wealth. The services sectors have come to be considered a major part of the economy only in recent times. The government introduced many services for the improvement of the country. It generally subsumes all economic activities other than those related to agriculture or manufacturing. Through this, agriculture and manufacturing generate wealth and are the backbone of our country. Here we have the different types of services. Administrative service, a part of the workload of university faculty. Community service, volunteer service for the benefit of a community or a punishment that may be imposed by a court. Example, justice given to the common man through courts and police department. Customer service, provision of assistance to customers or clients, like hospital service and education to all without any discrimination. Table service, food served by the waiters and waitresses, also known as servers. Domestic service, employment in the residence. Military service, a country's armed forces for the safe and secure of our country. What do you actually mean by wealth? Wealth refers to some accumulation of resources, whether abundant or not. Richness refers to an abundance of such resources. A wealthy individual, community or nation thus has more accumulated resources than a poor one. Example, USA. It is known for its development due to its wealth. The opposite of wealth is destitution. The opposite of richness is poverty. Coming back to corruption. These are the three stages or the three levels of corruption. Starting with the one in the beginning, sporadic or the individual corruption. Then the second one, the political or the grand corruption. And the third and the last stage of corruption, systemic corruption. So talking more about the sporadic or the individual corruption. This occurs on a regular basis but on a smaller scale. It refers to everyday abuse of entrusted power by low and mid-level public officials who often neglect the public or the common citizens who come to them and approach them for help to access basic services in hospitals or justice and police departments. And now we have grand corruption. Grand corruption consists of acts committed at a high level of government. It distorts policies or the central functioning of the state, enabling leaders to benefit at the expense of the public good. As you can see here, the public are forced to feed the government, even though he himself is hunger-stricken. Now coming to the third or the last stage of corruption. Well, this can't exactly be called a special category of corruption, but it's rather a situation in which a corrupt group of individuals start interfering with the governance of a country. The effects of these corruption are so adverse that it can be seen prevalently. So there's a scenario of systemic corruption in that picture. where the two bank officials have cheated and manipulated some documents to the common people. But the common people can't revolt or they can't repulse against the government officials as they are not politically powerful. This is a scenario of systemic corruption. So now talking about the state of our country. The funds you see the big tumbler over there, that's the funds raised by our government through various means such as taxes. So when the funds are released by the chief minister, a part of it he keeps to himself. And when the leftover is passed on, the minister too keeps a part for himself. And when it eventually reaches the bureaucrats who have to distribute it evenly among the people, they receive it in the form of a drop. That is what the common person has been promised, and that's what he gets. Unfortunately, this is the sad plight of our country. How do you expect a country to be developed when the common person is not happy? Even if a country is wealthy, it does not matter. But if it's ruled by such corrupt individuals, how do you expect it to develop in the future? Now, to add a bit of humor to the session, the teacher asked the student, "One day our country will be corruption-free. Can you tell me which tense is it?" And listen to what the student replies. Future impossible tense. Here, the student is basically describing the situation of our country. He means to say, corruption has sowed its roots so deep into the soils of our country that it's almost impossible to eradicate it. It's in the hands of us, the younger generation, to make a difference and create a better place for us common people.
Now, we would like to thank our mentors, Ruplata ma'am and Shyam sir, for supporting us and making this presentation a successful one.
Thank you.
A good presentation. Congratulations, children. You rightly said that eradicating corruption is a little difficult. But given an opportunity, what suggestions would you give to eradicate corruption?
Ma'am, corruption, it should start within from each and every individual. He should stop corruption in any form. And whenever he sees someone offering a bribe or accepting a bribe, the individual has to raise his voice and stop it. Like, it should not be done. Our country, if it has to be developed, corruption should be eradicated.
It's a wonderful topic, boys. Do you think changing laws can avoid corruption?
So laws can't exactly be changed, but it has to be followed in the way it has been laid down. Now the bureaucrats and the leaders nowadays, they're changing the laws according to their own will. This should be stopped. They should follow the laws as it's been laid down in the documents.